So for my project, I decided to do how to make science labs more accessible to students. So one of the big things in New York State is that exams, such as the grade 4 and 8 performance test and the earth science regents, have a whole section on their exams that dedicate to lab practicals. So the kids are actually doing hands-on labs as part of their final assessment for New York State. So already for students with disabilities, this is a problem because some of them can't do that, and therefore this whole section on their assessments is not going to work out. Also, New York State requires that when you take a Regents level science course, each student has to have 1,200 minutes for the whole year. And these labs must be completed in order to take the Regents. And that, each school district has their own like local standard as to how many labs need to be completed, or what's the passing score in the lab. It may not be 65, it could be 55, and they may not have, as long as they do the 1,200 minutes um, and continue satisfactory work on their lab, they would be okay. But you could see the issue already when you have students with disabilities, how this is all going to create a major headache. So science labs are really important to student learning because it gives them a hands-on experience and the opportunity to put into practice what they're learning and to give them a different perspective. And it also helps them learn better and to investigate more and to want to know more. And a University of Chicago study found that students who do labs and experience this learning score better on science tests. This new study by AM Gen Foundation and Change the Equation found that students really do love science, and that teachers are a top influence in why, in this particular study, students are interested in biology careers. And they found 85% of students say teachers influence their interest in biology careers. And students want the hands-on real-world experience learning. They want to do field trips. They don't like textbooks. They want to be immersed in the education. This is also a continuation where they rank what are the methods or tools used in the class. On the left side, you see class discussion, teaching straight from the textbook, and so on. And on the right is what the students want. So they want hands-on experiments. They want field trips. They want projects that relate it to real life. They want simulated environments and virtual activities. So they want to be more engaged and more involved in learning instead of it being a passive thing where the teacher tells you what the notes are and that's it. And everyone should be able to participate in science labs because everyone is curious and they should be able to pursue that curiosity. So if all these studies show that science labs are so important, why not include everybody? So how can we make science labs more accessible? So these three that I have listed here, PhET Interactive Simulations, Gizmos, and Bio Interactive Virtual Laboratory, are three resources that you could use right now that teachers and I have used as well. So PhET interactive simulations, I've actually used the Glacier simulation, which the picture is showing on the bottom right, is a free interactive online website that has math and science simulations, and they strive to provide education to all students, and they are a big believer that all students should have science education and math education accessible to them. And on their website they have a whole section dedicated to accessibility and their strong belief and work that they are trying to do research to make their website and simulations more accessible to all students. So they're working with like sound cues, voice dictation, certain keyboard functions to make their simulations even more accessible. And like I said, they have a whole website section dedicated to this, and they have a little video explaining how they're doing it and why they're doing it, and it's a great resource. Like I've said, I've used the Glacier simulation and my students really did enjoy it. The next one is Gizmos, which is, they claim to have the world's largest library of simulations. They also claim that their website is accessible and it's in accordance with Section 508 of the ADA. And they also do a lot of things to provide accessibility. So they present information in multiple formats. They take into consideration what color hues and options they're using, so to help all students. And they also take into account sound and visual indicators so that students are able to understand the format and they can see, changes. So, you can be showing the sun, the earth, and the moon and rotations, and you could be showing plate tectonics. And this is for math and science. So all these simulations are helpful. The next one is Bio-Interactive, and this is a virtual laboratory, and they have a whole set of these on their website, and you can see on the picture, like, it actually shows a lab, what a lab would look like, and they have like the microscope set up and what a lab table setup would look like, and the students just go through these simulations, if they don't have access to this at their school. And they also provide videos and readings to accompany the lab. So all these three that I just showed you, the Gizmos, Bio-Interactive, and the PhET, are all things that teachers can use right now because they're all available online and they're all free, and you could begin using them today. Considering what we have, there's so much more technology and innovation that's occurring that, a few years from now we could be in a different place with more resources. So one of the apps, this is actually something that you could download right now. I have downloaded it on my iPad. It's $7.99 for the app. It's called Quiver. So students can print out, or teachers can print out these coloring pages from Quiver's website. So on the bottom left you can see these students are coloring a volcano. And what you do is you open up the app on the iPad, and after the students finish coloring it in, you hold the iPad up so that you can see the entire picture on the iPad, and then a 3-dimensional hologram pops up of that picture. So you can see on the bottom left the students are drawing in the volcano, and on the bottom right after you hold up the iPad, your 3D volcano pops up. And in this case, the volcano, you can make it erupt. You can play like a quiz game where it points to different features of the volcano and you have to match it with what it is. And they have one for plant cells, animal cells. They have one for the globe. So this is a great tool, for students who need like a different perspective. You can kind of bring them straight into the center of the volcano. And yes, they have to color, so maybe students who can't color, that would be an issue, but I'm sure that could be like a modification where, maybe a student in the class wants to color an extra one for that student. And then the iPad you could just put on a holder, like an iPad holder or iPad stand, and they would still be able to use it fine. Like I said, it's an app you could get right now at $7.99. I would like to see them expand their education section. They don't have too much right now, but I think it's something that's promising, and that would be great in the classroom. This new technology just came out. It's called zSpace. So basically, it's a computer that students wear these special glasses, as you see this kid in the picture, and they can take, like, he's looking at a heart, so the heart would be on the computer, and they can use a pen and the glasses and take it out of the computer into a hologram so that they can look at it in more detail. And this is a new technology, so I don't think any schools have it in our area, but that's, the direction that we're going. And this is the last sort of virtual reality, where we're headed. Microsoft has developed HoloLens, which these you can actually buy. It's a mixed reality. It interacts with your environment and it displays holograms. So, if you're walking around wearing the glasses and there's a coffee table in the middle of your living room, you'll still see the coffee table and you'll still be able to hear what's going on around you. It's just now the holograms work in your environment. So you can see both of these people are looking at the human body. And it's such a great tool in the classroom because now you can look at the bones. You can look at the muscular system. And this stuff is also animated. So if we're looking at the circulatory system or we're looking at the heart, you can animate it so you can have the heart beating. And you can look at the human body at the circulatory system and you can see how the blood would move throughout the body. So it's animated, so students not only seeing it, they're seeing it in real time. They're seeing it moving, which is fantastic. And this link might work, and it shows you another possibility of HoloLens.
Skype for HoloLens can help with any situation where you say, "Show me how." Diagrams and instructions can be drawn in your world for help with any task. This leaves your hands free to work and get the job done.
So that was just a clip, and that would be great if a student is at home and can't come to school. You can like Skype and draw math problems out and explain to them what they're doing, which is a great tool. So I'll just end with this page that has a link to all the things that I talked about in this presentation, so that you can explore and see if any of them can pertain to you, or if you're just interested in any of this stuff. So that is how I hope to make science labs more accessible to all students.